Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sentinel Sports Extra Cleveland Guardians Weekly Report. No analytics here. We'll recap the week that was in Cleveland Guardians Nation, and we will preview next week. We'll talk where the Guardians stand, in like rankings in baseball for, both the offense and pitching. And, we'll recap this past week, which, wasn't that good. So we've got, first we got to mention that the show is brought to you by CT Roofing and Power Wash. It's the official roofer of the Lake County Sentinel. And they can help you with your roofing needs, siding, power washing. They can power wash your house, your sidewalk, your drive, your deck, whatever you need power wash, they can do it. And they're really good at it too. They can help you file an insurance claim for a roof or a siding. And so call them today at 440-278-0506 and get started. And they'll help you make your home more beautiful. So we're going to start off tonight. We have some sad news. Former Indians player and coach, Louis Isaac, passed away. He joined the organization in 1965 and spent the next 44 years with the organization. The first, some of our younger viewers may not know who he is, but our older viewers sure do. He played for the Indians in the farm system from 1965 to 1973. And then he was the team's bullpen coach for the next 36 seasons, with the exception of 1992. He was still in the organization. And from 1993 to 2008, he was the bullpen coach. And he did a great job. He was well known. Fans loved him. You knew Louis Isaac. And he was a really nice man. And in 2008, the Indians did not have the kind of season that, they thought they were going to have. And Eric Wedge, one of the worst managers of my lifetime, I think, because he had talent and couldn't win with it. He fired Louis Isaac after the 2008 season. He fired the bullpen coach, people. He fired the bullpen coach. And that was Louis Isaac's last job in Major League Baseball. He was done after that. And, Eric Wedge was done after that too, because he never recovered. Absolutely never recovered. And he was fired 2 years later. He deserved to be fired probably after 2008. But rest in peace, Louis Isaac. Thank you for being a lifelong Indian. Those of us who remember you, we grew up, there you were down in the bullpen with your shin guards on and your catcher's glove. And, we had a lot of great pitchers come through Cleveland, and they were great because of you. So we'll move on now to the Guardians, who are currently 15-14. They are tied for first place in the American League Central with the Detroit Tigers. The Guardians' run differential is now -8. So they were a -8 for the week, which is really bad. I mean, it was really a lousy week, okay? The Astros entered the week with the worst ERA in Major League Baseball at 6.16 and lowered it more than half a run against the Guardians, as the Guardians scored 12 runs in 3 games and only 2 runs in the final 2 games, as they lost that series 2-1. I mean, that is pathetic. After the Astros left Cleveland, they went to New York, and the Yankees scored 24 runs in 4 games. And the Astros lost 3 of 4. So the fact that, the Guardians could not hit the worst pitching staff in baseball, that worries you a little bit. They did hit a little better this weekend against a better pitching staff in the Toronto Blue Jays. But they lost 2 out of 3 in Toronto also. So they had a 2-4 week. Unfortunately, I picked them to go 4-2 this week. I knew when I made that pick, it was probably a bad pick. I just did. So I think the Guardians offense is better this year than last year. I mean, the numbers show it. We'll get to those later. But there are times where they're still very frustrating. But that leads me to the next topic, frustration. His name is Slade Ciccone. He is terrible. I don't care if he only gave up 4 runs today. Okay? Is that how low we've lowered the bar now for Slade Ciccone? That his ERA today was 6.35? And we should be happy about that? I know Vogt said he looked better today after the game, and they were encouraged by the progress. But I can't be encouraged by a guy who the team loses every game the guy pitches. You know what I mean? They can't win when he pitches. He's really bad. He's really hard to watch. I mean, it's kind of like watching some high school pitchers who always get deep into the counts, and then they can't last long because their pitch count is high. I mean, he seems to go 3-2 on every hitter. He never puts them away. I mean, and then he can't go, I was going to say he can't go 7 innings. Crap, he can't go 6 innings. Half the time this year, he can't go 5 innings. So I really had enough of him. He, as I said before, he kills the bullpen every week. He just destroys the bullpen. He is destroying the bullpen. Single-handedly, Slade Ciccone. Destroy the bullpen. I think that, it's time there's got to be some options. There's got to be some options. There's got to be somebody at AAA that you could bring up that could do what Slade Ciccone does. But I fear that they're going to keep sticking with him. He's a problem guy too, I think. I think he's a guy that if he's not happy, he's a moper. I feel like that's what he is. I felt like, from what I understand, that's why Arizona got rid of him. So he's going to cause problems if they demote him. There's no doubt. He will mope and bitch and complain if they demote him. That's probably why they're going to give him every chance they can But let me tell you something. You can't lose games just because you want to give a guy a chance because he's a troublemaker. Get rid of him if that's the case. You traded for him, so obviously the way they are, they're stubborn and they'll stick with the guy. But, trade him. If he doesn't fit in, trade him. They should have signed some more maybe another pitcher in the offseason. A cheap guy. Couldn't be any worse than him, right? He's terrible. Slade Ciccone's terrible. And we know it. So, the pitching staff ranks 15th in Major League Baseball with a 4.07 ERA. Imagine you take Slade Ciccone out of there. Where's the pitching staff? Probably in the top 10 overall. Starters ERA is in the top 10. Imagine where that would be without Slade. The starters ERA is 10th. It's 3.78. The bullpen ERA is 21st, 4.55, but it has gone down 1 full point in a week. 1 full run in a week, that's a lot. Even early in the season, that's a lot. So that's a very good sign. Cade Smith is still kind of worrying me, how he gives up hits, and it seems like a run every time he pitches. But the bullpen has been better. It was better this week. Well, that's because Slade Ciccone only pitched 1 game. Yeah, he only pitched 1 game. If you got Slade Ciccone for 2 games in a week, your bullpen's absolutely fried for the next week. I'm just being honest. So the offense, which did themselves no favors against Houston, absolutely no favors. The offense is 24th. Their batting average is 24th in baseball, 231. They dropped a spot from last week. Slugging percentage is 19th at 380. On base percentage 17th at 319. OPS is 18th at 699. Anything under 700 is bad. The league average is 711. Home runs, they're tied for 16th with 30. They dropped 1 spot there. Runs scored, they're 19th. They dropped 4 spots there. They've scored 118 runs in 29 games. Not good. Not good. They're not even averaging 4 runs a game. I do think the offense is better though. But they gotta produce more. They have to produce more. And I don't know how long they can stick with Bo Naylor, okay? I mean, I like Bo. I've been a Bo guy since I covered him at Lake County. But it's getting late now, I guess we'll say. And I don't know what they do. I don't know this Cooper Ingle kid. I don't know if he's ready yet. He's probably not ready yet. You rush him up and he stinks and you damage him. Not a good move. I know fans on social media, they want to do that. Just like they wanted Juan Brito last year to come up, and now they're ripping Juan Brito apart. Like he's a serial killer or something. Yeah, these are the same people that wanted him up last year because he would be the difference. Well, has he been the difference? No, but you got to give him a chance too. But Bo Naylor is worrying me. I think Austin Hedges should be playing 4 or 5 times a week. At this point, I think so. Until Bo can get it together, Austin Hedges needs to be the number 1 catcher on this team. And don't put David Fry back there, please. He's terrible behind the plate. Oh, my gosh. He's terrible back there. He just is. He seems like a nice guy. He's a good guy. But he's terrible. He's not a catcher. Oh, my God. Oh, it's been ugly when he's caught. So, next week coming up, we have the Rays, Tampa Bay Rays coming to town. And the Rays, they moved into back into their old place this year, so they're back home this year. They're not playing in the minor league stadium anymore, and that's very good. Wycliffe's own Jared Tennant works in the media relations department for the Rays, and so I would assume he'd be back in town, get to see his parents, Terry and Scott. So that'll be really nice for them. First game is Monday night, tomorrow night at 6:10. Parker Messick will go for the Guardians. He's 3-0 with a 1.76 ERA. One of the leading contenders for Rookie of the Year right now. Steven Matz will go for the Rays. He's still hanging around, Steven Matz. He's 3-1 with a 4.81. He came up years ago with the Mets and went to Toronto and then St. Louis, and now he's with the Rays. Tuesday's game will be 6:10 at Progressive Field. Tanner Bybee will make the start for the Guardians. He is 0-3 with a 4.45. He's pitched, I think he's pitched better lately. He pitched well in that game that the bullpen blew a couple Fridays ago. So, he just hasn't got a win yet. He'll face right-hander Nick Martinez. Who felt like country wasn't important enough and left the World Baseball Classic because, he didn't want to hurt himself. He's 1-1 with a 2.10 ERA. Wednesday's game will be at 1:10. It's a businessman special. Going away game. Getaway day. Jeez, I couldn't think of what it was called. Gavin Williams will get the start for the Guardians. Gavin is 4-1 with a 3.28 ERA. I'd like to see him get that back under 3. He'll face right-hander Drew Rasmussen. 2-0 with a 2.45. I've got Drew on one of my fantasy teams. It's a pretty good roster I have. But I still have him NA because he missed some time. I forget what it was for, but he was away from the team. And I put him on NA, but now, I want to bring him back, but I don't have anybody to get rid of. If the Guardians don't hit the first 2 games of the series, I might be forced to bring Drew Rasmussen back to get his points. So that'll be Wednesday. The Guardians are then off on Thursday to travel to Sacramento. They begin a 7-game road trip. First 3 games will be this week, and they'll be in Sacramento against the Athletics. They actually do have their uniforms this year. When they play on the road, they say Sacramento. So at least, give Sacramento, they got a team, even if it's only temporary, at least have them, at least put the name on the front, and that's good. And then after Sacramento, they have a 4-game set in Kansas City, but that'll be next week. But Sacramento, Friday night, 9:40, Joey Cantillo should go for the Guardians. Saturday, a game not to watch unless you like being frustrated. Slade Ciccone will probably go. That's at 4:05 in Sacramento. And then Sunday will also be at 4:05. And Parker Messick will make the start for the Guardians. So he'll be getting 2 starts this week. I have him on a couple of my fantasy teams, so that's good when a guy makes 2 starts in a week. Helps you out. But that, I think, is pretty much going to do it for this week's Guardians report. 2-4 this week. Not a great week. Not a great week. Now they have 3 at home against the Rays. The Rays always play the Guardians tough in Cleveland for some reason. I don't know why. And then they go to Sacramento. So I'm gonna go neutral. I'm gonna go 3-3 week. Unfortunately, if they go 3-3 this week, they're probably not going to be in first place by the time we talk next week. But I'm going to predict a 3-3 week, and hopefully I'm wrong in the positive way. So that's pretty much it right now. Next week, we'll be back at 9 o'clock on Sunday night, and we'll talk about the week that was with the Guardians, and we'll preview the next week. So until next week, I hope everybody has a great night, and go Guardians.